Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is SockBot, and today I wanted to talk about something actually not different. Today we're talking about Little Big Planet. So for anybody that's been kind of waiting for another video kind of about how to create things in Little Big Planet and what to do better, here you go. So I wanted to talk about 3 tips that I have for really trying to build faster. And this kind of seems superficial because it's really a process and you should enjoy building things. But I think one of the big kind of barriers to entry that a lot of people hit when they're trying to create in Little Big Planet is the beginning part where it just takes so long. You spent 2 hours watching all the tutorials and now you're starting, but you spend another hour and you've got maybe like 1 minute of gameplay maybe, and it doesn't even look pretty. Well, that's why I'm here, and that's why I want to talk about this. So the first 2 are kind of related, the third one's kind of like really all-encompassing. So number 1 is to really not focus on the design aspect of your level to begin with. So what I mean by that is don't focus on decorating your level. Don't focus on making every single corner perfect and everything look beautiful every single step along the way. And the reason why I think that's important is a lot of people kind of will just jump in and start making contraptions because they find the different technology interesting. And so this is kind of like the mechanic person that's going through their level and making like this really cool aspect and this really cool aspect and then just kind of shoving them together. And I think that's totally a fine way of making a level because it really does end up making a very interesting and very complete level with different aspects that are very different and that keep it fun throughout. And then after you've kind of finished that basic, that skeleton of the level that's working well, you can kind of trim around the edges, both literally with the corner tool and also in terms of kind of making it look pretty with backgrounds and stickers and different materials and all that stuff you can leave for the end, because if that's not really your thing, the fact that you've already completed a level will push you through that last part that's maybe not so interesting to you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is kind of the opposite of that. So this is a more artistic-minded person, and this is the person that is like really into the design of Little Big Planet, who just got a bunch of materials in story mode and really wants to test those out and kind of go crazy with whatever they can create. And so this is to kind of focus on that sort of style first and kind of flesh out the style of the kind of level you want to make. And from there, you'll get different contraptions kind of out of the style you're making. So when you focus on the style first, let's say you decide to make a giant sea creature or something. You make a giant octopus because you want to try out the new weird, smooshy, slimy materials or whatever. Once you create that and maybe create a background for it, it'll kind of lend its way towards different kinds of obstacles that you can create with that. So for example, if you're making a platformer, the different tentacles could be different platforms, or they can move, and you can kind of use the technology to create that around it. Or maybe make a score challenge in terms of trying to survive the octopus. I mean, that's obviously where all the shark challenges came from, right? And that's like super popular these days. But anyways, yeah, number 2 is definitely to try and focus on the style thing if you have a style in mind. And obviously, if you don't really have that style and you just have a bunch of different kind of hodgepodge different elements to a level, start with number 1. But number 3, and this is the one that's probably not what everybody wants to hear, but this is definitely to just keep creating because it will make you faster. Now, I swear, it is totally fine watching all the tutorials and understanding all the things. If you are at that point and you've maybe made 1 level or 2 levels, it's totally understandable that you do have a total grasp of all the different technologies in Little Big Planet. That being said, in terms of knowing which ones work and which ones don't in certain situations, like if a mover is applicable to this situation, or if a piston is applicable to this one, or anything like that, or whether to use score bubbles or score sensors or player trackers, or the different cameras and how to make a different level more cohesive with the cameras, lots of different aspects. Everything that really does come with experience of creating things. And I know that's not a great thing to hear because I'm basically just telling you to play more and you'll do better, but it really does work. And I don't mean to preach. I have logged so many hours. I made more than 30 levels in Little Big Planet, all of which have taken at least 20 hours to create and edit and all that kind of stuff. So I do speak from experience that it really will make you a lot better of a creator the more you do create. I mean, if I want to show some of my old levels on here from Little Big Planet 1, and I think that's going to be a future video because there is just a ridiculous difference between my mechanical knowledge and also like my style knowledge in terms of just creating and creating and creating. And I mean, that's why you see the people who did create the most who actually ended up working for Media Molecule in the future. Anyways, that was just kind of a relatively simple video in terms of Little Big Planet. I'm trying to get back into like focusing on the creative aspect of it as Dreams does get closer and closer to coming out. I know I keep saying that, but I'm still super excited for it. And in the next video, I'm going to actually have a little more gameplay about Little Big Planet. It's just my PlayStation's kind of not behaving right now. I can't find all my save files because I got a new hard drive. Anyways, lots of details. I will talk to you guys very soon in the next video, and thanks for all of you who have been showing support on the kind of different types of videos, and I do look forward to kind of doing a couple more of those in the future. But if that's not your thing, here you go. Glad that we can talk again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Goodbye!